the struggle is real, especially when it comes to talking comfortably on camera. And trust me, I have spent the past decade of my life doing just that. I used to be a television journalist, so I know how hard this is, and this is why I wanted to create this video for you all, to give you some of the ways that I got over the hump of being very nervous and coming across as very generic and not myself on camera. So I really hope that this video helps you out. And if you want to get more storytelling techniques, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I have new videos that come out every single Friday. Hey there, my name is Dr. Megan Adams, and I am a university communications professor. So I teach students presentational speaking, video production, digital storytelling, journalism, PR, a little bit of everything. But I also used to be a television journalist, so I really do know what it takes to create video stories in front of and behind the camera. One last thing that I do, I also co-own a media production company called Home Place Creative with my husband, where I coach clients through, do interviews, and create all kinds of stories, especially for web and social media. So I am here to bring you all of my favorite tips and tricks. It's one of the passions of my heart, is to teach and educate you all in this video, especially to become more confident on camera. Okay. Being comfortable on camera is tricky because it does not come naturally. The camera is not a person that you would be sitting across from. And even then, we perform in certain circumstances to, obviously, and if I'm in a communication situation, get the result I want from someone. And, you know, as you become more comfortable with a person, your personality might come out a little more, right? And all of us are a little different in how that happens. So cameras add a whole nother layer to that. It's a lot trickier. And I just want to acknowledge that it's a process. It's not something that you wake up one day and you just can talk to a camera, right? Anyone who has been in any type of field where they are on camera consistently, or whether they are doing YouTube videos, you know that they got better over time. Good way to see this is to look at if they still have them up. I love to do this, YouTubers. If you go back to their first videos, it's really fun to see how they evolve from maybe their first video to their most recent one. So it's just a good reminder that everybody starts somewhere. So just remember that. You're not gonna be great the instant the camera turns on, and that's okay, but you have to start. And so I thought, to remind us of all that, I wanted to show you some old clips. The quality is bad because cameras have come a long way, okay, when I was a journalist, because, you know, we could all have a good chuckle today. But again, we all start somewhere.
Numerous cases of sexting have been reported around the country and right here in West Central Ohio. But how dangerous is this new trend, and what exactly is it all about? Jules is recovering far better than even the veterinarians expected, and for now we'll call the Auglaize County Humane Society home. After cruising along all year, airfares go into a climb. Industry experts say if you're planning a summer vacation, buy your tickets now.
Okay, so one thing I hope you noticed in those videos was something that I want to tell you not to do in my first tip, and that was perform. As you're watching this video, maybe you see the difference in the anchoring clips that I showed you. I was performing how I thought a good journalist should perform as I have matured over the years. I think I have learned to talk very differently. I feel more confident. I feel more confident as a human being, you know, growing older, but I also feel more confident on camera because I've had a lot more practice doing it. I've also had a ton of practice speaking in front of students in classrooms every single day, talking about some of these concepts that I'm talking to you about. So again, I just want to remind you that performing is not necessarily the best thing for you. I remember my biggest struggle being on camera was trying to fit the anchor mold. So I was trying to talk like every single anchor, you know, that I heard talk, and whether it was in the formal voice or, putting, accentuating a certain word or something. This was something I really struggled with, so much so that I was like, do I need a voice coach, right? Because when I talk, I felt like I talked like a valley girl, and I was so insecure about that. And I just want to give you this advice. Don't do that. One of my favorite girlfriends, Jessica Dill, now Jessica Munster, I really learned a lot from her because I remember watching her anchoring and watching her grow through the markets. And one thing that she did was her bubbly personality, her laugh, her storytelling. Who she was on camera was who she was in person. And she didn't talk, the way I felt that an anchor woman had to talk. And so I think that, find the people who are doing that, and those are people to look up to and aspire to, but don't try to be like them. Be like you. Be who you are. Talk how you talk. Be comfortable, because when you feel comfortable and confident, that is definitely going to come across on camera. So I hope that one sinks in. I really do. Because, man, 22-year-old Megan, if I could talk to her, I'd say, just stop. You're going to be fine. Tip number 2, you probably see me doing this a lot, and it's a tactic I really honed in the classroom, but that is tell stories while you're talking. And sometimes these stories come up as you think of a point. As you plan for some of your videos, you can kind of maybe script some of these out, take a note and say, oh, I'm going to tell this story about that, or I'm going to remember to make this point about that. But oftentimes this happens very naturally, and I think that really comes across as genuine and authentic on camera. For all my women in television who are watching this, you probably struggle, especially if you're new, with that banter, right? That back and forth that you have in that last 10 seconds, right? Or if you have to fill time. But this is my favorite part of the newscast, because this is where you really see personalities come out. Or live shots is another one. If you're doing a live shot, I think audiences most genuinely react to those moments when the anchor or the reporter is humanized. And the key, I think, the really big aha thing for me was that, well, if you can humanize yourself in those moments and not try to be this super formal person, people react to that and they respect that, and they will have your back. That's something I really learned in the classroom with students as a professor, was that there's obviously a level of respect for the job that you're in, but it doesn't mean that you can't tell a story or two to humanize yourself and endear yourself to your audience. Again, whether you're a journalist, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're talking about your company to clients, this is a really great way to connect. I've mentioned this before, my third tip, but I'm going to continue to talk about this one because it really changed my view, and it really calmed me down when I had to talk in front of a camera. It still does. And that is to imagine someone behind the camera that you're talking to. And so I heard a quote, I was listening to a great podcast from a filmmaker, and she said, the very best footage I have is when the relationship with my subjects is so natural that they forget the camera is there. And that's when people open up. And so lucky for us, we now have cameras that are more accessible. They're smaller. I'm talking to a DSLR right now, which would have been unimaginable when I was in journalism. We've had ginormous cameras that were intimidating. But now they're getting smaller. They're getting lighter. And again, if we can just be so fluid and natural and confident, if we can, I know it's hard, but if you can forget the camera's there and just imagine you're talking to a friend. Or I had a friend who was an anchor that told me every time when the news camera flipped on, he would get a mental image, I'm closing my eyes, but he'd get a mental image of his grandma behind that camera, and that was who he was talking to. And in that way, it kind of softened his delivery, it shaped the way that he was telling stories, and it calmed his nerves when he had to talk to a camera. And so I hung on to that piece of advice, and I think it's a really great piece of advice. But I would really love to hear from you. What obstacles are you facing to be more confident and be more comfortable? What is it for you that is holding you back from getting past that performance and closer to your natural, confident, comfortable self on camera? So drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Bonus tip here, this hardest one, don't forget to watch yourself back on camera. I did not do this for a very long time. There were some days where I would cringe. Even now, going back to that video I showed you at the top of this video, I'll just play it in the corner here. This makes me a little cringeworthy, right? But I know that it's a process. I know now with the perspective that I have that Megan is gonna get better because I am going to practice, right? And so watch your tape back, watch your tape back with a safe person if you have a safe person. Don't be too hard on yourself. Remember that everyone is growing. Again, nobody starts off as a prodigy in front of the camera, right? We all get better over time. But another way to speed up the process is to, again, get a coach or a trusted friend, mentor, somebody who can help you get beyond your self-critique and help you be more comfortable on camera. Like these tips and you want more, I do have a Facebook group. It is called Sisters in Storytelling. This is a magical place. We have hundreds of women in this group where we are encouraging each other, we are sharing resources, we are sharing our work, we are being pushed through educational content created by me to grow in community. So this is one of the beautiful things, beautiful aspects, I should say, of social media. I really love it, and I hope that you will join us. If you want to join, all you have to do is head on over to Facebook and search Sisters in Storytelling. Just request to be in the group and I'll let you in. So I hope to see you there soon. And if you value this content, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every single week, and I do that to support you because I really want to help you become a better storyteller. And I think being confident on camera is one very good step to do that. First step, right? So please subscribe.